Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I want to tell you the story, the Tommy Boy story. And the Tommy Boy story involves me, one of my best friends of all time, Jesse, basically a brother of 30 years, and Kelsey. And Kelsey was an absolute maniac. He's an acquired taste, and he himself could have his own channel because he has probably more stories than I do. He is an absolute maniac, or he was anyway. Just to give you an example, him and my friend Jesse worked at a unnamed fast food restaurant, many years ago, 30 years ago. And Jesse actually went outside to smoke a joint with some friends, and the police showed up. Jesse's the manager. He's out there being detained, about to get arrested by the police, him and his friends, our friends. And Kelsey grabs another manager's shirt. Kelsey was a regular employee, walked outside, told the cop that Jesse was fired, and the cop said, well, you've learned your lesson, let him go. Jesse ended up going back inside doing the paperwork, and no jobs were lost. So Kelsey got balls of steel, and he is a maniac. And like I said, he's an acquired taste because, of course he ended up being a pretty good friend. But the first time I met him, actually, he, I was told, oh, Kelsey's cool, man. You got to meet Kelsey. And the first time I ever met him, I was standing out in the parking lot of said restaurant because I worked there for a minute as well. And he says, you've got a bug. You've got a bug on your shoulder. And he goes, what kind of an idiot doesn't know he has a bug on his shoulder? And I thought, wow, Kelsey's kind of a dick. But that was just a moment. He was actually, but he is a maniac. But he's actually he was a good guy, or is a good guy. But he crazy. Anyway, so it's me. You know the characters. Me, Jesse, and Kelsey. I didn't really tell you much about Jesse, but he's much more reserved than Kelsey for sure. But anyway, we're going down this road east of the interstate sometime after 2 in the morning. Thank goodness it was late at night, or I'm sorry, more than anything, thank goodness it was east of the interstate, because we were going down the road doing about 45. I should have set the backdrop, which is I had an 89 Firebird, and the ones with the one headlight wouldn't go down. Yeah, that was me. And the battery couldn't keep a charge, and the hood wouldn't latch all the way. So my dad, I think it was one of my first cars. Well, it was one of my first cars. I was 16 or 17, and my dad had taken a bunch of, I don't know, aluminum tie rods or something, and he had managed to bend through the hood under some metal, tie it off real tight, and but in order to open my hood, I had to climb under the car, lay on my back, and undo this metal strap every single time, and then I'd have to flag someone down and ask for a jump start. Well, let me tell you that, I mean, it was a nightmare. So after doing this for weeks, I finally said, this is ridiculous, and I'm just going to make the process slightly easier. So what I foolishly did was buy a handful of those short bungee cords, and it just made the process, a minute or two faster, because I didn't have to do all the metal thing and tie. I just would strap it on and go vroom, 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 and clamp it on something, and it held up for weeks, until one night east of the interstate, doing the speed limit, actually about 45, out of nowhere, woof, and Kelsey's in the back going, Tommy boy, Tommy. I'm like this underneath the hood and like pulling off to the side of the road. And when I get up to the side, we pull off. Kelsey thinks it's the funniest thing he's ever seen. He's just going, Tommy boy, Tommy boy, Tommy boy. And we pull over. Thank God, you know, there's no traffic. We're the only ones on the road. There's, you know, we weren't going into oncoming traffic, and there was no semi headed towards us. It was just us. That was the good part. But I try to shoot the hood, and it's mangled like 3 bends to it. There is no shutting it. And we like try to put nothing. So we had to limp the car on down the road about 15 miles an hour as the hood's literally completely mangled. Like the hinges and everything were, it's all messed up. So we had to limp it back to our friend Mike's house, who was fortunately, that was where we were headed, about a half mile down the road. And I had to take my hood off in 3 in the morning and leave it against the side of his tree and apologize to him later. So that was the Tommy Boy story. And my dad ended up replacing it for me because I didn't have the $250 to buy a new hood and have someone, you know, put it on in the whole 9 and have it latched properly. So that was $250, and the car was probably only worth 500. So I guess the lesson there is don't undo what your dad did. If he overdid it, he probably did it for a reason, but you know, that was one of those moments. So that was the Tommy Boy story, and God bless y'all, and see you next time.